They didn't even wait to meet me, didn't wait to see who I'd become, didn't ask if I'd be kind or strong or anything. They just gave me a name. Jabez. It means pain. My mother said I caused her sorrow. I don't know what happened. Maybe the labor was hard. Maybe life was. But that's what I carried from the start. Not a nickname, not a moment, a name, a sentence. People don't forget names. Kids repeated it. Adults avoided it. No one expected anything from me but trouble. And after a while, I stopped expecting anything too. You get used to shadows. They don't disappoint you. I didn't ask for it, but it followed me. Into every room and into every hope. I was Jabez, the boy born of pain. And for a long time, that's all I thought I'd ever be. She named me Jabez. That means pain, not hope, not joy. Pain. Before I ever spoke a word, that's what they said I was. She said I caused her sorrow. That's all I knew. No father in the story, no blessing. Just a mother and a memory she didn't want. I wasn't born into love. I was born into regret. And everyone acted like that name explained me. Like I'd never be anything else. It sticks with you. When your name sounds like a curse, I grew up with it, a label, a shadow. Not from strangers, from my own blood. They didn't say it to be cruel, but it still cut, and the cut stayed. I learned to smile small, speak soft, take up as little space as I could. Because from the start, I was told I brought too much weight into the world. She named me Jabez, and for a long time I believed her. Pain followed me. Not the kind you can see, the quiet kind. People didn't look at me with anger. They looked at me with pity. Or worse, like I wasn't even there. They'd talk about blessings, about favor, about destiny, and then they'd look at me like I was the exception. Kids didn't want to play with the boy named Pain. Parents didn't want their children close to whatever I carried, so I learned to shrink, to stay close to the edge of the room, to lower my eyes. I wasn't loud, I wasn't trouble, but somehow I still felt wrong. I kept thinking, if I was better, maybe someone would choose me. But no one did. It's strange. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely outside. I wanted someone to see me, not for what I was called, but for who I was. But I never said that out loud. I kept my mouth shut and hoped maybe silence would hurt less than rejection. Pain followed me, not because I deserved it, just because it was the only thing I knew how to carry. There comes a point where silence gets heavy, where shrinking stops working, where being invisible doesn't protect you anymore. I reached it. I was tired. Tired of surviving, tired of pretending it didn't bother me, tired of being named by pain and never anything else. So I said something to God. Not because I was righteous, not because I had earned it. I was just done. I looked up and said, "Bless me," and that's all. No speech, no offering. Just a tired whisper from someone who had nothing left. I didn't even know if he was listening. Didn't know if he cared. But I asked anyway. And part of me was afraid to ask. Because what if he didn't answer? What if nothing changed? What if the silence stayed? But I still asked. Because even a small chance was better than carrying this forever. Bless me. That's how it started. I didn't want more land. That's not what I meant. I wanted space. To breathe, to live, to matter. I said, enlarge my territory. But what I meant was, give me a life that's bigger than this name. Bigger than the box I've been shoved into. Let me stretch without breaking. Let me grow without being afraid of who I used to be. I said, keep your hand on me. Because I knew I couldn't do it alone. I'd already tried. And it didn't take me anywhere. I said, keep me from evil. Because I didn't want to become what people assumed I would be. I didn't want to live hurt and then pass that hurt on to someone else. I didn't want to leave the same kind of scars that were left on me. This wasn't a speech. It wasn't a ceremony. It was a cry from the middle of nowhere, from someone who didn't feel worthy, but asked anyway. He heard me. That's the part that still gets me. He actually heard me. Nothing dramatic happened. No fire from the sky, no thunder, just change, slow, quiet, but real. I woke up one day, and the weight didn't feel so heavy. People started looking at me differently. Not with fear, not with pity. They listened when I spoke. They stopped calling me what I was and started seeing who I was becoming. But the real shift wasn't out there. It was in here. I wasn't walking like a curse anymore. I wasn't apologizing for being alive. I stopped thinking of myself as someone God had skipped over because he hadn't. He heard me. Not because I was important, not because I earned it, just because I asked. Peace didn't come from land or status or what people said. Peace came from being heard, and that changed everything. My life stayed simple. No crown, no title, just peace. I wasn't a king, wasn't a prophet, just a man who asked. And God said yes. The pain didn't vanish. Some days I still feel it. Old memories, old words. They visit sometimes, but they don't live here anymore. They don't own me. I've seen what one honest prayer can do. Not to the world, but to a heart. I'm not the story people remember. I'm the one they usually skip. Just 2 verses. But God saw more than 2 verses in me. And if he saw more in me, maybe he sees more in you too. They named me pain, but God gave me peace. I am not my name, and you don't have to be either.